Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to Not Your Professional Walkthrough channel. We're gonna take a look at a fun match I had in the Tier 8 Premium American Cruiser, Wichita. So currently there is the dockyard event, and that means that whenever I come home from work, I'm able to put in 1, 2, 3 matches before I head to gym. And when I come home, I usually either play a little bit more or I record something else for the channel. So World of Warships was for a long time kind of an important thing for me, because when I did not have my desktop computer and I was only working with the laptop and everything, this was like a game which I was able to run even with the super lowered settings. So I even have some older matches on the channel which showcase what sometimes can happen if all stars align, and I think it's kind of like a perfect showcase in this match specifically, because if you ever play the American tech tree, and if you either go down the Des Moines tech tree for American cruisers, or the Worcestershire or Worcester, or what's the other cruiser line called at the tier 10, you usually have to pay quite passively, and the reason why I usually get killed is because I do the exact different thing. So I'm not really sure what's going on or why I'm still not moving, but what usually happens is that I'm trying to do some dishes or something. I set up the game so that it starts, and then I go and see what can be done. But no, it seems like we're gonna be stuck here, so this is gonna be awkward, but whatever. So the optimal way to play the American cruisers is to have always an object, and you are focusing on something in between, so that you can ensure that you have some sort of angle to cover yourself or something to hide behind. So usually trying to focus on anything that is between two islands might be optimal. If you usually try to be too aggressive and push out too much, you're gonna get focused, and unfortunately the armor which is accessible to these ships is not the best. So even from the front you can get penetrated or get citadeled, and these ships do not have repairs. You have to reach all the way to like tier 9 in order to get like Seattle or these other ships, so that you can actually start getting the reconstruction party, which allows you to recover some of the HP. You do have access to the dive bombers in case you play against submarines, which we do have in this round. So yeah, currently you see exactly that I'm trying to follow my ally over here, and I see a high concentration of enemy ships moving to the right side of the map. You already see that there is one casualty on the enemy team. We have even the actual carriers in this match, but when you are in an American cruiser, you don't have to worry as heavily versus the enemy planes, because usually you have quite decent anti-aircraft artillery or support, so that's perfectly fine. So the reason why I did not believe that I was actually so successful on this run is primarily due to the fact that I was able to get quite a lot of kills, and usually you have to be quite opportunistic. Scharnhorst is a tricky one because it's a premium tier 7 German battleship which has 20-second reload time, and being able to switch between AP and HE rounds on it is quite easy. I was actually thinking that I have a Scharnhorst Kraken match ready for the channel as well, but I might have forgotten to save the replay, and so we're gonna have Witchita and one more ship. But yeah, usually I don't have that many Krakens, so when I have some fun match on the channel, I try to share it, because not that many people have these ships. And back in the day, I used to spend a stupid amount of money on this game, but I no longer do that. Even like my premium has expired, and currently there is the event in the armory where you can collect tokens and exchange them for super containers. And I was actually heavily focused on doing specifically that. So I kept grinding all the ships of tier 10, because each ship of tier 10 will give you 200 tokens, which is exactly how many you need, so that you get your super container. And out of those super containers, I was able to get actually doubloons, and I was even able to get my hands on some additional premium. And during the time period when I'm grinding for dockyard from time to time, because I really don't want to pay war gambling the full price for the ship in dockyard, because that is equivalent sometimes to like 170 bucks. And I don't really know where you live, but where I live, 170 euros is price which I pay rent and some additional payments like the electrical bill and also internet bill combined. And so to me, the price of that ship is never gonna live up to the same value as having 1 month's rent paid off. So that's why I usually keep grinding like a total crazy dumbass when it comes to these matches, and it at least gives me opportunity to switch around from the usual suspects that I play, which are either German battleships or American battleships. So this is something which I was doing. Usually when I now play the dockyard, I try to switch up the combat missions. So because one of the stages of the dockyard currently had requirement that you had to set up like 200 fires or 100 incapacitations, it was more optimal for me to play the cruisers because of their fast fire rate. And here you see that I will start even switching the HE to the AP rounds, because the ship is showing me beautifully its broadside, and if I will be able to land those rounds and Sean Horse cannot really get to me, I will be able to deal quite the destructive damage. Unfortunately, he's able to turn just in time and get hit in the ship with torpedoes, so that managed to kill him off. But once again, we have the cover of the island. We see that there's Nürnberg. Ranger is back in the background trying to relocate itself and provide support on a portion of the island. But once again, if I would switch to the AP currently, I can deal a lot of damage to this German cruiser. So the reason why I'm spamming HE currently is I'm trying to set fires or deal the incapacitations, and I usually don't tend to abuse this. I have had instances where I've done some dumb stuff, but I usually try to focus on helping my team. And with the cruisers, you have to be passive and have to look for specific targets and opportunities to present themselves. And in this case, because the fire was raging on board of the Nürnberg, I got the kill, despite the fact that it almost went to another player. So we are currently in the middle of the map, which is quite dangerous for me, because one salvo and the broadside armor on these ships is not the best. So trying to once again relocate myself so that I have some sort of two objects and a target in between will be most optimal for me to utilize the fast fire rate of the ship, set up fires, do some incapacitations. But usually on destroyers and cruisers you will see the incapacitations, and on battleships you try to set up those fires. So here we see the American submarine is shooting torpedoes trying to hit me. The best strategy is to slow down the ship and start turning into them. This way you have much better chance of dodging those torpedoes. And I honestly have to say I'm not really a huge fan lately of submarines, mostly because I've realized that if you play, for example, carrier class, you really don't have any means to defend yourself. And I have an old match from Ranger Carrier, which was actually ranked, and in the last second I was able to destroy the enemy submarine, which almost killed me, and that could have gone like a victory to the enemy team. The playlists are in the video's description, so you can go and check that out. And because we set up the fire to the actual submarine with the depth charges, I will get a kill on the submarine.
Enemy submarine
but
destroyed.
Here I have to be careful because I am in a dangerous situation where the premium Russian battleship Borodino can deal absolutely devastating damage to me, and we have Cleveland on the other side, and if he is close enough, it's a tier 8 cruiser. It's not premium, but it has 4 turrets. Witchita has only 3 of them, and it can spam rounds like every 5 or so seconds. It's ridiculous. Cleveland can do a lot of damage if you do know what to do with the ship, but usually we'll see a lot of people get killed in that ship specifically because they are either out in the open, they don't use some sort of island for protection, and so because Borodino goes behind an island, I switch my focus towards Cleveland, and I try to help out Brandenburg to take it out, because if Cleveland will be able to keep shooting at it, we will not be able to contest the enemy flag. And honestly, I usually don't try to go for contests in these types of missions because it's kind of more of a domination style. I try to help out by clearing out the enemy players, but yeah, Cleveland is just sitting still, exchanging shots with Brandenburg. Brandenburg is premium tier 8 German battleship. It has the Tirpitz hull, but it has different turrets with 3 guns or 3. It has 3 guns in each of the 4 turrets, meaning that you can fire 12 rounds. It's a fun ship, but honestly, I don't know, I prefer Tirpitz more over it, and it's definitely better than that Anhalt BS. That's just a painful thing. So I'm trying to push out Cleveland there. Fires are being set up, but I'm getting the tunnel vision, and that's dangerous, but the fire does its damage, and I'm able to take out Cleveland. Now, here Dunkirk or König could have actually dealt absolutely devastating damage to me, because if they would have hit my broadside, that would have been definitely at least 1 citadel. Like I said, these ships are not really set up to be out in the open, and so trying to actually dodge the rounds, even this way if I'm angled, you see that Dunkirk is able to citadel me, and this is why it's quite dangerous to be like this, and you should use some sort of island as a cover. But we have already 3 kills, and so that means there's only 2 more battleships left. There's another salvo coming in. I'm trying to re-angle the ship so that I can try to bounce off some of those shells. Fires are ranging on board of the Dunkirk. I will continue to shoot, and because there are no more projectiles flying towards the battleship, the ones which will land will secure me the 4th kill. There is only König left. I'm not gonna stand on the capture point with the other cruiser, Amano. I have the range to actually get to König, but I don't see it, so I need to wait to get the visual confirmation from our carrier to spot the battleship, and once it's in range, I will open fire. Now, once again, if I will see König start shooting at me, I can try to re-angle myself, position myself so that I will be better positioned to try and dodge the rounds. I definitely see the front 2 turrets being angled towards me. I'm starting to set up those fires. That's the 13th fire I have set up on this mission alone. I have 6 incapacitations, so that's actually objective well on its way to get completed. I only pay those mandatory steps for each dockyard, and I do not have all the dockyard ships, but there we go. The rounds land, and we get a Kraken with Witchita. So fun stuff can happen. I'm gonna brought out the actual end screen results. Wow, they've actually changed it. Beforehand, I had to actually go and look at the print screen itself. But yeah, it's been a fun match. I've been a little bit too aggressive, but with 160 hits, I was able to actually get 5 kills, set up lots of fires. So yeah, unfortunately, majority of the matches for American cruisers will not go this well. This is why you only see the American cruisers being played in tier 10. Usually you will see preference for the British cruisers because they can hide in smoke, spam AP, or you will see Japanese cruisers because they can spam HE rounds and have those long range torpedoes. So it's far more frequent to see different nations. But yeah, if you ever have like shitty ships which you do not play and they're sitting in your lobby, just take them out every now and then, and maybe something like this will happen for you. It happened to me, and I was able to get a lot of weird ships which I don't take out too often, especially back in the day, like a couple of years ago during the pandemic when there were the Christmas sales. I used to buy a lot of the actual containers. I got lots of premium ships which are absolutely terrible. I never use them. But if there are events like collecting tokens and I have objective for like the dockyard and I don't want to keep playing the same ships, then I tend to switch it up, and this is what happens. And with that, that's gonna be it for this match for Witchita. I'm gonna have one more match for you, and if you want to see more of World of Warships, check out the channel. I have 2 playlists at least. I have few reviews. I haven't been really active with the game because, to be perfectly honest with you, I have had a moment where I absolutely stopped playing it for a while. And I don't know, it's just something that you can get into, play 2 matches, and then get on with your daily schedule. But of course, because it's PvP and multiplayer, your mom or whoever you live with will not understand that you cannot pause the game, so you have to look for those opportunities to enjoy it. And with that, I'm gonna wish you a pleasant rest of the day, and hopefully I'll see you all at the next one. Thank you all for watching, and bye bye for now.